In our video today, we will comment on our experiences during placement in relation to how each of our schools acknowledged and responded to social inequalities. Each of us will create connections to bigger picture issues that affect the way we as teachers approach diversity in the classroom.
During my placement, there was a recurring theme of celebrating the students' cultures. In the prep class, there was a fascination and awe of students who could speak another language. On many occasions, students' show and tell was either to speak sentences or count in their family's traditional language. This was highly encouraged by both the teacher and other students, shown by various congratulatory phrases used by the teacher and students collectively. In response to the show and tell times, students were given the opportunity to comment or ask questions. Many of the children used the phrase, "I really, really like it," in response to their peers' skills in another language.
Likewise, during my placement, I observed the promotion of diversity through show and tell. The students would tell the class about their birthplace, their family's heritage, and a celebration that the student's family participates in. I observed the interest the students displayed towards the student's speech, and the questions had to be limited to only 2. The teacher responded to diversity within the classroom by providing a platform for all students to be recognised and accepted for their differences, traditions and values, as in Australia, diversity continues to be an issue in both classroom and society in general. Due to Australia's history of racism, providing a platform where students are encouraged to share about their culture could potentially eradicate discrimination and inspire a worldwide culture awareness, as it is a universal problem and a violation of human rights.
This observation shows an acceptance and inclusion of different cultures and foreign languages. Welch commented that schooling further widens this circle of others, referring to the cultural awareness that is gained through education and diversity in schools. In this classroom, different cultures were equalised, and the attitude of students and teachers was in agreement with Welch's statement, "All culture has power."
Similar to both Christina and Kira, diversity at my placement school was acknowledged and encouraged through a presentation of some sorts. The Year 3s had been doing a series of incursions where they visited a different classroom that had been transformed into a particular country. Each country was chosen specifically in regards to the countries of origins of each student. The aim of this was to encourage and give the students a platform to share with their peers their nationality and their home countries. These incursions the Year 3s took part in pushed each of them to understand and grow knowledge of each other's heritage. This same knowledge is referenced by German social theorist Jürgen Habermas, who claims that the goal of coming to an understanding between cultures can only come about by an agreement which results in the intersubjective mutuality of reciprocal understanding and shared knowledge with one another. Essentially, by exploring various cultures with their students, the Year 3 teachers are educating the students to create an understanding as a bridge between cultures. In all 3 of our experiences, teachers use their position to create a safe space for their students to share their culture and, in turn, understand the cultures of their peers. When teachers introduce activities where children can share their backgrounds, they set up the first steps towards a generation that exhibits social inclusion in all aspects. By doing so, they also adhere directly to AITSL Standard 1.3, which accommodates for all diverse students.
At the primary school where I completed my placement, they heavily recognise Indigenous and Torres Strait Islander people and their community. The Year 5 students within the ESL classroom that I had the opportunity to be a part of focused upon the book The Rainbow Serpent. The teacher used the story to prompt discussion amongst the students about Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, their community, and their importance within our society. Students adapted their recount of the Rainbow Serpent story to reflect their views and understanding of the tale. As a result of this, the teacher was able to determine what the students were able to learn from this activity and evaluated areas where they would still require growth and knowledge of understanding. The teacher strongly promoted cultural awareness within the school, and as a result, the students recognised the importance of understanding and accepting each other's different morals, values and beliefs. They were also able to endorse the importance of globalisation, and as a result of this, they were able to encourage students to interact and integrate. Through exposing the students to these broader concepts, the school was able to recognise and respect the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. It was clear to me, as an observer within the classroom, that they had recognised that reconciliation is about unity, and they were able to instill these positive values within the school community as a whole. My experience within the primary school is similar to Kira's, as both schools understood the importance of promoting equality for all races and cultures. However, it differs completely, as there was a specific focus on Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people and the community within my classroom, in contrast to Kira's experience, where she had to prompt and ask the teacher how and when this was promoted.
Some schools give Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders recognition and show respect at the beginning of assemblies. However, the school I went to did not. I discussed this with the teacher, and she said that instead of recognising only Indigenous Australians, the school tries to acknowledge all cultures within the school community, yet proceeded to share that there are no students in the school that identify with the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders' heritage. The lack of cultural awareness highlights the absence of understanding within the community. ASIL standard highlights that the importance of reconciliation between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians being promoted in schools through the curriculum. However, the structure of this school created further exclusion from this group. The policy involving the creation of order was established to end discrimination through everyday schooling practices, yet could be the reason the gap between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians exists. Therefore, the teacher's response to this was to provide an equal platform for all cultures to be appreciated. However, in Madeline's case, the focus of learning was around story and discussion, allowing the students to become more understanding of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders' culture. Thus, the policy reinforced the goal of reconciliation.
Any school community is widely diverse, and every individual brings their own specific needs. During my placement, I participated as an audience member in the Grade 5-6 production. Every student was given their own role, contributing to a student-led performance celebrating diversity and the power of collective voice. It was evident that students and teachers catered for each individual's needs, with a student who was in a wheelchair being included in the production. This student, who possibly could have been left out of such activities, was given the role of holding up audience response signs. The inclusion of this role benefited not only this student, giving him a sense of purpose, but allowed the audience, including younger students, to make a valuable contribution to the performance. The social model of disability explores the concept that inequality is created because of society's inability to accommodate individuals rather than the impeding nature of the disability itself. However, in my observations, the school community provided opportunities for this student, enabling him to participate in society, socially and individually. There was a concerted effort made by the school to provide disabled individuals with the same sort of opportunities as individuals without an impairment. The social inequalities described by various theorists were challenged by this school and resulted in an equality of education for both able-bodied and students with disabilities.
Like Christina, during my observation, the whole school were preparing for the school performance that was taking place in a couple of weeks. During class time, students had a chance to work on their singing and dancing in preparation for the play. One student had early stages of cerebral palsy. The teacher had taken it upon themselves to alter some of the dance moves to better suit the student's disability, allowing them to be able to contribute to the performance and be fully included without any discrimination. As Hayes 2013 states, some physical impairment interacts very strongly with social processes of exclusion and inequality during school practices. While there's no contrast between the two experiences, we can notice the degree and effort the two schools go to include all learners into everyday activities. Furthermore, to demolish any social inequality that may have been indirectly pushed upon the student's experience. Comparing our observations to the social and global context of education, we can begin to notice concepts and effects of social justice has or could have on students' education. Social justice, which is defined by Adam and Bell 2016, is the allocation of opportunities and privileges within a society, and having respect for human diversity and group differences. Pushing for further growth and change of social perception of the restriction in which disabilities may have on a student experience is essential for obtaining further self-actualization of the individual and significant social progress of the education development. As educators, we need to be aware of the relationships between the personal experience and the wider society to adjust better to comply to the standards and goals set by the Victorian Government. Understanding our individual observations and similarities and differences, we are able to view and appreciate multiple ways in which schools respond to social inequalities. By doing so, we can better ourselves as pre-service teachers for the future and create a better sense of our sociological imagination.